know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, yes, a legend in his own time. Absolutely. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on a balmy, I guess you could say, Thursday night compared to the deep freeze we have been enveloped by in the last couple of days. Well, so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. It's the Ron Kelly Show. Ron Kelly Show. And it's on live on YouTube, live on YouTube, and also on Facebook Live and on radio at blogtalkradio.com. Very glad to have you guys all in. Thank you so much for your continued support. Before I go any further, I need to let you guys know that the views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, and are not those of my advertisers or my support team. So welcome. Thank you again, once again. Can't thank you guys enough for engaging with me here on the Ron Kelly Show every Thursday night. It's January 13th, and I was thinking that tomorrow was January 13th, and it would be the first Friday the 13th of 2022. But I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was wrong. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. The Ron Kelly Show is powered by Aaron Nazar's Tax Preparation, and of course, American Porterfield. Another sponsor is on the horizon. I'll keep you guys posted for that. So the great James Mtume. You remember James Mtume, some of y'all who came up around about the time I was coming up. The great James Mtume passed on a couple of days ago. And, he gave us a lot of good music, James Mtume. And he was an activist as well. He used to be on the open line on WBLS for years. And then he moved on to other things. But thank you, James Mtume, for all the good music that you gave us and for your activism. All right, lots to talk about tonight as we close in on what would have been the 93rd birthday of a great civil rights leader, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was cut down in the prime of his life by racist bigots who felt that Dr. King was a threat. And we'll talk about this tonight. Has there been any change? Also, how is COVID affecting your love life? And I'm talking about single people, married, dating, whatever. How is COVID affecting your love life? Because it looks like people are more concerned with COVID than they are with anything else. Dr. Fauci says that the Omicron variant will eventually catch up to all of us. Scary thought. We'll get to that in just a minute. Shout out to Billy Moss that says, "Go Buccaneers." Yeah, well, whatever. Hope to see the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game. They seem unbeatable, but everybody on any given day, any given football team, no matter how great and wonderful they are, the Chiefs, who seem unbeatable, the Buccaneers, and some of these other teams, they can be beat. They can be beat. So shout out to Billy Moss down there in Florida. Oh, man, I just, wow. I still here in crusty, dusty New Jersey. And it takes a lot to, I got to give people like Billy Moss and a couple of other people, Gilly, and some other people that I know who left this area. And it's not the easiest thing to do. You've been living here for a certain amount of time. You have your job. You got things settled. And people are addicted to our people, and I'm not just talking about white people, but people in general are addicted to certainty. We're addicted to certainty. We don't want to take a chance. I got a job, I got a pension, and you work all year. I mean, you work your whole life just to go on even if it's a pension that pays you close to what you made, 80%, 90%. We work all our lives to get on a fixed income. And people are just afraid to take a chance, take a shot. See, but the successful people in this country are the ones who took a shot. Not necessarily that they had backup or, just something like that. And some people, the people who are successful are the people who took a shot. They took a shot. They said, you know what? I'm going to quit this job. Right in the middle, got everything going on, and quit and take a shot at doing something else. Shout out to Joanne Jackson. Love life going well. I'm glad to hear that, my sister. Appreciate you. And I'm glad everything is going on in your life. So it's just a couple minutes past the hour. I'm just settling in here. It's the Ron Kelly Show, broadcasting live on Facebook and on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So a little later on, we'll talk about the COVID, how COVID affects your love life. We'll talk about that. I got a couple of things I want to get to. And of course, you can put your 2 cents in, and you can feed the post. If there's something that you want to make a comment or whatever, you can always go to the feed. Shout out to Ronald McCready. He says, hey, Ronald McCready, my brother from another mother. Good to hear from you, my brother. Because people are just dying, left and right. But yeah, so we got an issue right now that's going on. And I don't know if people are paying attention. I can't say that they are, they're not, whatever. But voting rights. Now, you would think that, after all this time, here in 2022, we'd be still fighting for voting rights, because the Republicans have decided that they're going to put all the pieces in place so it won't matter who you vote for. It's going to be a monarchy where the Republicans are going to put in who they want to be the president of the United States of America. I mean, these people are actually doing it. They're actually doing it. The state legislatures that are run by Republicans, they're putting things in place. I mean, you can't even, one of the states, there's a law now that you can't even hand somebody a bottle of water. But handing somebody a bottle of water is a crime. So all the measures that were taken for people to vote, drive-through voting, more boxes, longer hours, all that stuff is being eliminated. And these people are serious. This is no joke. These people are serious. And we're behind 8 ball. We're behind 8 ball right now. Ronald McCready talks about Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. When Trump calls the Secretary of State and asks, can he find 11,000 votes? See, this is a very scary time right now. Some of y'all might not recognize it, and that's your prerogative. It's a scary time. Scary, scary time. So, why in 2022 will we still be fighting voting rights after the voting rights were granted to Black folks in 1962? And everybody seems so shocked when something, well, not everybody, but most people seem so shocked when something happens, when there's like blatant racism. See, because people don't hide their racism anymore. White folks used to just, and not all white folks, but many of them just used to just hide in shadows because it wasn't fashionable to be a racist. But now it's, hey, whatever. I'm a racist, so what? So it's unbelievable that we are at this time it's unbelievable that we are. It's unbelievable that at this time we are fighting for voting rights to Black folks. You know, and some of these things that happen to Karens and some of the stuff, and we all kind of clutch our pearls, so to speak. And this stuff has been going on for years. Now, the Louisiana judge resigned. You know, I told you the story. The Louisiana judge who was caught on camera, video, using the N-word. And like I said, how many judges out there, how many people in power, how many landlords, how many, law enforcement are racist? There's a lot of them. You know, and when something happens, we get, oh my God. And then we don't do anything. Right here, in my town, Montclair, New Jersey, right here in my town in Montclair, New Jersey, the city attorney called a member of the school board, said he was 3/4 of a person. See, people are still walking around with this stuff. They're still walking around with this stuff because it used to be the law. It used to be the law. The law supported a lot of the stuff, you know. In the Constitution, it said that Black folks were 3/4 of a person, not even a whole person. I mean, what the heck is 3/4 of a person? Joanne Jackson says racism came out after Trump got in office. That's when you knew who was who. Yeah, what Trump did was he empowered the racists. He didn't create them, but he empowered them because you had the president of the United States, the top dog, going around, you know, sliding down his golden escalator at Trump Tower in 2014 and started talking about Mexicans, that they bring drugs and crime and disease. And people stood up and said, oh, wow, okay, great, wonderful. We got our man. We got our man, Donald Trump. I can step out of the closet. So yeah, right here in Montclair, New Jersey, right there, you know, right here where the Ron Kelly Show originates, the city attorney called a African-American who was on the school board, I believe he was the president of the school board, said, you're only 3/4 of a person. And he wound up having to resign. Just unbelievable, but believable. So tonight, so again, Monday, we're closing in on another King holiday. And it's basically a day off for most people. And like where I work at, you have to request the day off. And all of the white people, all the white people who work where I work requested the day off. I believe I said this already. Joanne Jackson said racism came out after Trump got in office. That's when you knew who was who. Exactly. I think I might have repeated that. So again, we're fighting for voting rights in the year 2022. So Monday would have been the 93rd birthday of the great civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was cut down in the prime of his life by some racist bigots who felt he was a threat. Now, I do believe that I can't say because I don't want to go to Facebook jail, but there were some people very high up who had everything to do with what happened. That wasn't just, you know, some cornball sleazebags who just say, "Oh, we know he's gonna be." They were there, the Lorraine Motel, Dr. King fighting for somebody else, fighting for the in Memphis, fighting for the garbage truck fighting for the garbage workers, the black garbage workers, because back in the day, the black people always were hanging off the back of the truck. See, white folks always were the drivers, and black folks were the helpers. And, you know, and some of the people down there got tired of it, and they said, okay, well, we're going to do something about this. And Dr. King, who never really thought about himself, went down to Memphis and stayed at the Lorraine Motel, waiting for the next day to speak for the black sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee. He went out on the balcony, you know, and like I said, this is way up the food chain. Whoever shot Dr. Martin Luther King, it wasn't just, you know, it wasn't just, I mean, it was people from way up the food chain, way up. Now I can't say where, and I don't want to start no conspiracy theories because Facebook doesn't like that. But yes, Lamont Gates says Kanye West and Steve Harvey slid down that elevator too. You see, and this is the problem. This is the problem. You see Kanye West skinning and grinning with Donald Trump in his office. Skinning and grinning with Donald Trump in his office. Sitting there, I love you, man. You know, and Donald Trump is sitting there like, look at this ignorant Negro. Look at this. Like, yeah, Lamont Gates says that Kanye West and Steve Harvey slid down that elevator too. Yes, they did. And who the hell is Steve Harvey? You know, he doesn't represent us. He, you know, Family Feud and Steve Harvey show in the morning on the radio, and now it's Judge Steve Harvey and some other things that he was doing. And so who the heck is Steve Harvey? Who the heck is Kanye West? You see, again, Dr. King was a threat. Dr. King was a threat. Black folks finally started coming together when Dr. King was climbing the ladder of recognition. And Dr. King was a threat. As a matter of fact, he was the only threat because they haven't shot anybody else. I mean, somebody tried to stab, I'll get back to that. Yeah, somebody tried to stab one of the other, but nobody was more of a threat. Reverend Al Sharpton, somebody stabbed Reverend Al Sharpton back in the day when Yusef Hawkins was run down by a bunch of white boys and subsequently killed. And he was over there in a march, and somebody ran up to him and stabbed him. Didn't kill him. I guess he missed, whoever it was. And yeah, stabbed him. But nobody has been more of a threat than Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King mobilized people. His speeches weren't self-serving. Dr. King didn't have a radio show or a TV show. Dr. King gave his all. He devoted his life to the betterment of Black folks. And because of that, he was killed. He was killed. So, yeah, he was killed. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. It's about 20 minutes past the hour. We'll come back. We'll take a quick break. And we'll come right back with more of this program. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's broadcasting live on YouTube and also on Facebook Live. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go.
George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
everybody. Then let me tell you a little bit about Amica and Porterfield. For 41 years, 41 years, Amica and Porterfield. I'll get to this comments in just a second. Those of you, Lamont Gates, Joanne Jackson. For 41 years, Amica and Porterfield Transportation has provided safe, clean, reliable transportation to and from your destination. Have you ever been on a bus ride and the bus broke down and everybody's PO'd? That's not going to happen here. Amica and Porterfield Transportation provides service to schools, churches, and medical transportation as well. Licensed to operate by the New Jersey State Department of Transportation, their late model fleet of buses and vehicles will make sure you get to and from your destination safely, and their courteous drivers will see to your needs during your transportation experience. They are located at 307 Arlington Avenue in Plainfield. And just because they're located in Plainfield doesn't mean they can't come to you wherever you are in the state of New Jersey. So give them a call. It's 908-753-6423. You know, the 5 weeks before spring training. So get those bus rides ready. You can give them a call, 908-753-6423. Once again, 908-753-6423, or email them at amicaandporterfield@verizon.net. That's Amica and Porterfield at verizon.net. This portion of the Ron Kelly Show is powered by Amica and Porterfield Transportation. Okay, Lamont Gates says, Harvey says God is but it's great. You know, that's easy to say. I mean, you know, you're worth $100 million. You know, I mean, it's easy to be the, you know, I mean, would God give one person so much? I don't know. That I don't know. But while hundreds of millions of people don't have nothing, so I don't know about that. I mean, I appreciate you saying that, Lamont Gates. Lamont Gates, NDE on YouTube. Joanne Jackson says that Kanye West and Steve Harvey are just two men that's doing what they're doing in order to make a living. Yeah, and see, Dr. King didn't do that. Dr. King was on point. Where I remember watching a clip of 60 Minutes. Yeah, Dr. King was on 60 Minutes. And he put it to, I mean, he never showed like anger. He never, you know, he was regal in how he carried himself. Now, yeah, there was some stories about Dr. King. I mean, he wasn't a perfect man. And the stories about him with some extra women or whatever the case may be, who knows? Nobody's perfect. I'm not giving him a pass. But Dr. King was a threat because Black people didn't start coming together until Dr. Martin Luther King emerged from the pack. And then when the white folks decided that Dr. King was going to raise up Black folks, he was killed. See, because because Black people, if Black people would come together, and be together and stand together, I mean, there would be nothing. The United States of America would probably be the second largest economy besides the United States. The Black folks, there's just too much jealousy and keeping up with the Joneses and anger, and so you get a situation, you say, okay, we need to fix this situation, and it's not, and it gets destroyed, or the situation goes sideways because Black folks start fighting who is in charge. And see, when Black folks, you see people getting awards and stuff like that because it's somebody that they like. We don't give out awards and we don't follow people because of what their accomplishments have been. I like this pastor. I like this activist. I like this person. I like that person. And they haven't done crap. but I like this person, so I'm going to follow this person. So you have different factions breaking off, and guess what? The situation never gets any better. Okay, everybody, it's 26 minutes past the hour. Yeah, I was, to understand racism, you have to, take a look at it from a different perspective. There was a situation, 1967. I was around in 1967. I was born. I was here, 1967. Many of you were as well. And 1967, there was a case called Loving versus State of Virginia. Now, during that time, 1967, it was illegal in Virginia for Black people and white people to get married. I mean, this isn't like, the 1800s Emancipation Proclamation. This is 1967. That's only, 50 odd years ago. And Loving versus, so the white man, after they moved, because the state of Virginia told them they had to move. Look it up, Loving versus the state of Virginia. So they were told, Mr. Loving and the Black woman that he wanted to marry, they were told that they could not get married in Virginia. It was kind of like, when it was illegal for two people of the same sex to get married. He said, it's ridiculous. In 1967, this stuff is not from 100 years ago. This is like all recent stuff. And you wonder why there's so much racism. You see, because you can change the laws. You can change the laws, but you can't change what people are thinking. You can't change that. And even though, laws have changed where Black folks are marginally better off than they were, but you still have, people in power, racism, law enforcement, racism, judges, and these people. Ronald Pleady says there's a movie about this. There's always a movie. That's all we do is put up movies. I think there's a documentary type of something on Prime Video with the struggle of Black folks. See, but even with this Ronald McCready, it doesn't even when you see like Roots, for example, Roots, should have had everybody, fired up. Roots came and went. Yeah, there is a movie. I saw an advertisement for that, Ronald McCready. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, man. There's a movie about the struggle of Black folks. See, these things, nothing that happens spurs Black folks to come out and handle their business. Nothing. There's always, we always, get mad. George Floyd, get mad. Michael Brown, get mad. Trayvon Martin, get mad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get mad. But we don't come together. We don't use some of these situations to anchor us. So these things have police shootings, and every now and then you see, people. You see somebody who's gotten out of jail after like 40 years because they were railroaded into prison, and there was no DNA, no scientific way to prove their guilt, and the prosecutor and the judges were all in cahoots with each other. And every now and then somebody gets out of jail who's been there for 100 years. The whole life has passed them by because of this stuff. Joanne Jackson says, you are so right. Listen to what you're saying. If us Black folks we get together, no matter what happened, white folks are going to stand behind each other. You damn right. White folks are going to stand behind each other. Ronald McCready says our greatest weapon is protest. Well, yeah, you can protest, but you know, what happens after? What's the aftermath? I mean, you can protest all you want, marching and all this stuff. We've been marching for 200 years. But it's what happens after. You know, if we do wind up getting some justice, then everybody goes back to, you know, watching the Oval. I got to see the Oval, girl. They wilding. The president is sleeping with some black chick, and the wife is the first lady is still there. And, you know, all of this stuff, HBO, and we're focusing on that. We're focusing on HBO and some of these shows. But we get to get, but and I appreciate you, Ronald McCready. But what happens after? What happens after? Nothing. So, so finally, Barack Obama is elected president of the United States. Barack Obama. And we thought we had made it to the promised land. Oh, we in now because we got somebody like us, black first lady and two little black girls, and they are. And Barack Obama is the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, Barack Obama. And we all thought that we were going to be. We thought that we were. Oh, our ship has come in. And what happened? Nothing. It's not to say that Barack Obama was derelict in his duties, but no matter who you put in office, it's Ronald McCready, I agree with you, but what happens after the smoke clears? Nothing. Nothing. We protest, we tear up everything. Even in our own neighborhoods, destroying our own neighborhood. I don't know where that came from. Because we react, but that's it. We react. Like, what? What happened? I'm going out here. And a lot of our people just want to steal stuff. Many of them. I wouldn't say all. But what does a pair of sneakers have to do with a black man being killed? Absolutely nothing. So we don't do anything once something happens. Do nothing. Like George Floyd, for example, terrible scene. George Floyd being, for all intents and purposes, killed by Chauvin, Derek Chauvin. He got hit pretty hard with the sentence he got. But what happens after that? See, all of this stuff that happens, all of these things that happen, there's nothing that has happened that has sparked black folk. That has sparked black folks to be together. Nothing has happened where people come together, black folks come together and say, you know what, we can stop this, and we can stop it. We can stop it. But like to say, a house divided cannot stand. And right now, in Black America, the house is divided because a lot of people just don't care. Nikki Totten says money silences a lot of people. Yeah, we're going to give you a TV show so you can shut up. We're going to give you a radio program so you can shut up. See, you couldn't bribe Dr. King into shutting up. And they tried to shut Dr. King up. Dr. King wasn't going for it. So any chance Dr. King got to be on television, he stated his case about black folks. He was 1 in a trillion, actually. So as long as we don't do anything after something happens, we expect it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. And this is what's going on with us right now. Nothing. So we had Barack Obama, 8 years, 2 terms, 8 years. What happens? Nothing. Did everybody was kicked Barack Obama's back in because everybody's saying he didn't do anything. What was he supposed to do? What was Barack Obama supposed to do? See, you know, in order to, you got to get up and do something. You can't just, you know, every now and then something happens on Facebook and you know, something happens and you go on Facebook and vent your frustration. Then you go back to watching The Wire or or Ghost or The Oval or some of these nonsensical black shows that always put black folks in a bad light. We just want to laugh. Just get all the black radio stations, the black morning shows. It's all about getting a laugh. Hee hee ha ha. You know, there's nothing substantial. There's nothing valuable about black morning radio unless you just want to laugh. There's nothing, you know, like Steve Harvey and shout out to Lamont Gates. What's your problem with Ghost? I don't have a problem with Ghost. What I'm saying is we're distracted, Lamont Gates. We're distracted. Ronald McCready says the problem is we don't have a leader leading the change. Yeah, we don't have a leader, not like Dr. King. Dr. King was, you know, there'll never be another Dr. King. Never. Because Dr. King's only concern was bringing black folks together. He ran around the country and was here and there and to and fro and speeches here and there. You know about the speech in the March on Washington. And that speech was unbelievable. So what's going to happen to Monday is on the Black Morning Radio. They're going to play a piece, or you know, a lot of the black stations have radio mixes, and they'll mix part of Dr. King's speech in with the music. I mean, come on, give me a break. And you're right, you're right, Ron McCready. We don't have a leader leading the charge of change. No, we don't have nobody. We just, you know, I don't know. We just, just, you know, a house divided. House divided. Nikki Tatton says people thought he was able to change years of injustice in 8 years. See, because, you know, I don't care where you live, New York, LA. I mean, you can't depend on the governor, and you can't depend on people in government to change things, and they ain't going to change nothing. That's not going to change anything. No. Lamont Gates says, lead yourself. See, that's the problem, Lamont Gates. That's the problem. Lead yourself. That's the problem. Because that's what it is in the black community. It's all about me. And that's the problem. Lamont Gates says leaders are flawed just as we are. Yes, you're right. Dr. King was flawed too. But Dr. King, he may have been flawed, but his main concern was the betterment of black folks. And he knew in the speech on March on Washington, he knew that somebody was going to kill him. Because he was a genuine threat. But see, since Dr. King was snuffed out by these racist white folks, nobody else has come along. Reverend Al, Jesse Jackson, nobody else has come along who has no, I don't have COVID. And I'll get to that in just a few minutes. Nobody has come along who has been a threat. Nobody. So, you know what? I'm going over the time. Okay. What I'm going to do right now, take a quick break, and we'll come back with more. We'll come back with more of the program. It's the Ron Kelly Show, everybody, and it's on Facebook Live and on blogtalkradio.com. All right, we are back, everybody. We're back, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Show, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com. Broadcasting live right now on Facebook Live and YouTube. And just slide on over to YouTube and just click that subscribe button, because the more subscribers that I collect, the closer I'll be to quitting my job. Joanne Jackson says Kanye West and Steve Harvey are just two men that's doing what they're doing in order to make a living. So, yeah. Well, wait a minute. I said that already. Joanne Jackson says, what sense is that? We protest, tear, and burn down your neighborhood down. You burn your neighborhood down. And then what? You have to go to the white folks store and spend your money. That's why you have to stick with your people. Help your people. Bring your people up. Yeah, you can drive through the hood and there'll be a Chinese restaurant on every corner. Now, this is not to knock the Chinese, not to knock the Chinese. But see, but you can't, the trust amongst Black people is not there. Oh, Black people, and there are some truths to that. The Black folks don't handle business properly, poor customer service, and, no execution, no follow-up. So there are some truths to that, but the trust in the Black community is shot. And then this is not I'm not here to beat up on Black folks. I'm just telling you like it is. Joanne Jackson says, what sense is that? Wait a minute. Yeah, right. Bring your people up. Thank you, Joanne, for that. Lamont Gates says, leading oneself is never a problem. It's the reason why some wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid. You see, but the trust amongst Black folks in the Black community is null and void. It's null and void. Because certain Black neighborhoods, I'm a licensed carry firearm. When I'm in the white neighborhood, I don't carry a firearm. But if I got to go to Newark, and look, this is just it. If I got to go to Newark or East Orange or some other depressed Black neighborhood, I got to carry my firearm. See, because some things are indigenous to Black folks. And carjacking, as much as I hate to say it, is indigenous to Black folks. Now, I'm not saying Black folks are the only ones who, I'm not saying that Black folks are the only ones who carjack vehicles. But carjacking is indigenous to Black folks. There was carjacking in New York. I believe it was yesterday. And they found the car in Orange, New Jersey, a couple hours later. I mean, what the hell? Why is you going to steal a car? I mean, just for a joyride? Now, this person, their car is damaged, somebody who works every day and makes their car insurance payment, who pays their car payment. And this is what happens. Black folks are, and again, I love my people. Don't get me wrong. Now you can say what you want to say about me. I love my black people, and I pray every day that one day we could get it together. Let me go back to what Lamont Gates says. Leading oneself is never a problem. It's the reason why some wouldn't change. See the trust, Lamont Gates, and you're being a perfect example of the trust and the distrust and the skepticism that we as black folks are watching each other, and that's part of the problem. Bunny McKnight says we've been lied to one too many times. Yeah, but okay, we know what the situation is, and we know what we can do to stop it, but we're still, and I don't know if it's Willie Lynch syndrome. I did read the little pamphlet, Willie Lynch syndrome. Makes a lot of sense, but we have been in the situation for years. Now it's 2022, and we have access to resources. We have millionaire football players, millionaire basketball players. But they making a little statement every now and then, build a school, do this, do that, which is cool. You appreciate that. But there's no cohesiveness in the black community. There's no connectivity in the black community. We all focused on stuff we got, that we shouldn't be focused on. I'm not going to tell you what you need to be focused on, but we have a situation where we focus on the wrong things. It's all about me. Whatever, whatever for you, oh, well, what the hell? But I mean, yeah, we have been lied to, Bunny McKnight, but since we know that, what are we going to do about it? We got to find our own truth. Lamont Gates says, trust no man, Psalm 1, chapter 146, verse 3, I believe it is. I'm not sure what that. I have to look that up, Lamont Gates. Nikki says it's not always customer service in the black business. It's a lot of people go in expecting to get something. Well, yeah, that's part of it. Because when you go in the white man's store, you got to pay. He ain't giving you no break. But that's a percentage of black folks who think that they can get over. Sometimes the shop owner is thinking the same thing. They're going to charge you up the kazoo, and you're thinking that you're going to save some money. So again, when white people do business with each other, there's not all this distrust. When Asian Americans do business with each other, there's not a whole lot of distrust amongst them. They don't have a whole lot of skepticism about each other. So again, it's another king birthday, another king holiday. They gave us a holiday for king. Like that's supposed to shut us up. You know what? And it did. It did. It's about 10 minutes left of the program. I was trying to get to how COVID is disrupting. And it should. COVID is disrupting your how COVID is disrupting your. Before I move on, Nikki says they charge more because they pay more. That's what people don't understand. I prefer to do business with people I don't know. When I go to the Firestone place or Pet Boys or whatever, my car doesn't need to be prepared too often. The white folks, they give you what you ask for. You pay. There's no questioning. You pay for what you ordered, and that's it. Swipe that card. I bought a battery the other day for my car. I swiped that card, 200 and something out. I mean, and you walk away. And it turned out, as it turned out, I didn't need it, so I brought it back, and they gave me my money back. So, you think I could have went to a black store and they would have gave me my money back? Hell no. So how is COVID for single folks and people who are dating? Joanne Jackson says that's our mentality. Do what we want to do with no question or regrets about it, point blank. Yeah. Yes. Now, I wanted to ask a question about COVID and how COVID affects your love life. Let me move on from Dr. King. Because, people are more concerned about COVID than they were with anything else, with the STDs. And, now it's, are you vaccinated? When's the last time you've been checked? Now, because most of the time, it seems that people are more concerned with COVID than they were with HIV, or or some of the other communicable, meaning that somebody can catch whatever it is you got. And so I'm pretty sure that in the back of people's minds, in this COVID age we live in, that people are concerned with somebody else having COVID. And so, if I'm dating, I'm single rather, or whatever, and if I meet a girl, I'm going to be looking at her sideways because, I don't know. So I'm going to be looking at her like, well, I don't know. She probably going to be looking at me like, well, I don't know, because of the COVID. Nobody wants to catch COVID. I'll catch anything else, but I ain't catching. I'm not catching no COVID. So if you're married, for example, now you leave the house and you go where you go, and the wifey leaves the house and she go to kiddies, go to school. So how it's difficult to, is everybody going to get tested every day? Because even right now, if I was married, I'd be like, okay, listen, let's go get tested together. In this way, we know what the situation is with both of us. Joanne Jackson says we're going to have to start walking around without an immunization card and a statement from the doctor saying that we're okay. Today. Well, I do have my immunization card in my pocket. Now, I haven't gotten the booster, but I have gotten the the 2 shots. I did do that. Nikki Totten says people are going to start checking COVID, like checking for STD. And see, okay, but now that's fine if you're single, but what about when you're in a relationship, or you're in a relationship where she lives, where you live separately? What happens then? Because you don't see each other every day, so you got your thing. You go out and, I wear my mask everywhere, except for when I'm home. I don't walk around the streets with it, but when I go into an enclosed area, I put it on. If anybody gets offended, well, that's your problem. You see, because what happens is when stuff gets curable, or at least treatable, that takes the threat away. When something like COVID is treatable. If you get most of the people who got the Omicron virus, who were, statistically speaking, most of the people who got the Omicron virus, who got both shots, because the hospitalization rate is lower now, according to the statistics. So people are not, people are less likely to die because of they're less likely to die because of the COVID vaccine. Less likely to die. So that kind of takes the threat away. Takes the threat away. So, but now, if you, I mean, or do you even care? Because if you're in a relationship, for example, don't live together, and she's living in one place and you're living in another place. I'm not talking about long distance relationships. I'm talking about where you are don't live together. Joanne Jackson says, I've gotten all three, but you can still get, yeah, you can still get COVID. But, you know, there's less of a likelihood that you'll die, you know. And I tell you, I made my own personal decision about the virus. Because, you know, you can't, because some people are just nutty as a fruitcake. Like there's a chip inside there's a chip inside the virus. I mean, people already know wherever you at. People already know where you are. Yeah, every time you go to the Easy Pass, they know. Everywhere you go, people already know where you are. Go to the Easy Pass, boom. Oh, you was at the Easy Pass at 7:48 this morning. So people already know where you are. You know, satellites, I mean, the GPS in your car. So you're driving down the highway and that screen is showing exactly where you are. Exactly where you are. Oh, it's about 2 minutes left to the program. Joanne Jackson laughed at something I said, I suppose. Nikki Totten says people are not wanting to quarantine. I have two friends who had it and didn't stay up there. And see, and this is the other thing too. You know, the stigma surrounding COVID, just like the stigma of any other disease that's, you know, debilitating. And you know, when people have COVID, they don't say nothing. They have it. They come out like, hey, what's up? All up in your face. And, you know, some people just lie. They just lie. And they don't tell. Joanne Jackson said, I was laughing when you said people don't. Yeah, because you get some people, some people just believe anything. You can tell them anything. Oh, yep, I know. I heard about that. Didn't hear about nothing. No. All right, everybody. It's about 24 seconds before the program ends. I want to thank you all for joining me as usual. I appreciate you very, very much. And we'll get back with you together, get back together with you on next Thursday. So until then, everybody, take care of yourself. Remember, it is nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And we may not have it all together, but together we can certainly have it all. Thank you so much. I think I'm done.